Hello everyone, Maria here again, enjoying myself in this beautiful bathtub. I like the color of the wall very much. Um, so going back to what I think is so relevant in our lives as humans is that we understand our own energy intellectually, but especially energetically. Everything is energy. The core of who you are is energy before it's manifested in a physical form, like your physical body. And if you close your eyes and get used to being inside you without getting distracted with the outer world, you will get to experience your own energy at some point. If you also are able to discern what your true energy is from what other energies may be active in you, which are not your true self. They are part of you, but they are not you. And you are the only one who can identify those and who is responsible to transcend and release those psycho-emotional constructs that you are carrying around throughout your life. That's what the inner journey and spiritual journey is mostly about. So that by doing so, you access more easily and more frequently higher levels of consciousness, and you have a greater experience of love, unconditional love, and pure joy, and your inner power to create and to express yourself in this world and to relate with other humans in a very honest, humble, and beautiful way, so that we can all benefit from it, all of us. This core energy, if you think of yourself as energy, it's going to be easier for you to connect more deeply with yourself and start understanding yourself at an experiential level rather than a conceptual one. And experiential, I mean mostly through your body. It may involve your senses, which are more subtle within you, that may help you realize both that you have them and that through them you can connect with things that are not easily perceivable by your physical senses, such as your own self. And you cannot see yourself outside of you. So you having your eyes open is really not going to help you to understand who you truly are, because it's an inner experience. And as I was saying, if we start thinking of ourselves as energy, then it's easier to understand that everything and everyone that surrounds us, because it's also energy is made up of atoms, it's going to affect us one way or another, because we're all connected. So the way that your environment looks physically is very important. It should look in a way that feels natural to you, that is energetically, meaning vibration of the things that you have around you, not the objects per se, but the way they are displayed, and the city or country where you live. Everything has a vibration. You should be able at some point, your inner journey, to realize whether your physical environment is really complementary to your energy and they go hand in hand, or they actually it is difficult for you to experience peace and an elevation of yourself in that environment. And then we move on to people, which are one of the main elements in this physical experience, is how we relate to other humans, which is going to be conditioned by how we relate to ourselves first, and what kind of people in our lives are we keeping around? Are we choosing to share our energy, our time, our bodies, our money, our intimacy, in whichever way, with? Who are these people? And why are we choosing that people? Because if we're not conscious about the people with whom we share our lives, it's very likely that it happens to a great extent on an unconditional level, which means that it is your human ego, out of its own fears and needs, choosing certain people to have around. And those people may have very little to do with who you are at your core or where you want to be as a human, the journey that you want to walk, and any kind of destination, so to speak, that you want to reach as a human, any physical goal, let's say. um, that's why we need to learn who we are first and love ourselves in that process before we embark on intimate relationships with other humans, which can be just personal or could also be professional. If we don't know ourselves, we don't know what is really important to us, what is really a challenge for us at each stage of our journey, and we don't know then which kind of humans are more beneficial to us because they share the same values that we share, because they love in a very similar way than we love, or if they don't love in a similar way, they love in a way that is complementary to how we want to love. Um, People who have similar aspirations regarding humanity, regarding how to live a life, um, and similar way of living. That doesn't mean that we only have to be surrounded by people who have share 80% of our daily habits or anything of that sort, but some form of similar lifestyle, because the lifestyle in the end is a reflection of who you are inside, the things that you normally do. It doesn't have to be exactly as you do them, but someone, for example, who takes care of their body and takes care of their minds and takes care of their soul primarily, uh, would be someone suited for you during your inner journey, definitely. And someone who doesn't care at all, that cares very little about any kind of personal growth, is not going to be a great support for you. Most likely, it's going to be a little bit of an obstacle. You will not be speaking the same language. And because the inner journey is quite challenging, and I think it's especially not because you have to meet your own shadows constantly, but because it's not considered common, normal, or standard in society yet. Therefore, you feel like a little bit like a fish out of water, and the way you see the world and experience yourself is not how most people see the world and experience themselves in a very deep and existential level. So, yeah, the conversations do not revolve around help each other shine, how we can love each other even better, how to be able to have difficult conversations so that we can understand where we are being an obstacle to each other, to help each other have the courage to leave behind those things that are not helping us anymore, and to be a team really with everyone who is around you, like having people who is supportive of who you are and what you want. That is quintessential from my perspective for you to gain more confidence and to prevent your ego from experiencing great levels of loneliness. Because we know solitude is the experience of being alone. Loneliness is the experience of being alone and unhappy about it. And whether you are aware of it or not, I dare say that every human ego has some level of fear of loneliness, because it experiences itself in its own essence, at its core. It experiences itself as separated from the rest, separated from the rest of the humans, and separated from the universe. Like it perceives the universe as a stage. Like you see some people when they talk about nature, you feel like they think that there's the background, a decoration, green decoration or something of that sort, instead of knowing or understanding or remembering that we as physical beings are just an extension of this planet. And we have exactly this physical form because we live in this planet and we're made up of these elements.